Hi students, welcome to a new lecture of methodology classes. Today we are going to discuss pair of linear equations in two variables. We are discussing some descriptive questions here which have been asked in the previous year question papers. We will be starting our session with some basic questions based on the graphical method. In between we will be dealing with some questions based on elimination method and substitution method. And in the last, we will be dealing with some tricky word problem questions which have been asked in the previous year question papers. So this is an easy topic. So let's start. So let's go to the first question. So the first question, solve the following system of equations graphically. The equations are 2x minus y minus 2 is equal to 0, minus 4x plus y plus 4 is equal to 0. Also find the absolute difference between the ordinates of the points were given lines cut y-axis. So first of all, we have to solve these two equations. So let's start. Okay. So graphically, we have to solve it graphically. Graphically means we have to draw its graph, and these are linear equations. So we know the graph of any linear equation is a straight line. And to draw a straight line, we need minimum 2 points. So we have to find 2 points lying on the first line, and then we have to join them and extend on both the sides to get its graph. So we can substitute any value of x and find out the corresponding value of y in any equation. But for the sake of making our work easier, we will be choosing x is equal to 0 once and find out the corresponding value of y, and then we will be choosing y is equal to 0 once, and then we will be finding out the corresponding value of x. So taking the first equation, 2x minus y minus 2 is equal to 0. So let x is equal to 0. So if I substitute x is equal to 0, it will be 2 times 0 minus y minus 2 is equal to 0. So from here I will be getting minus y is equal to 2. So y is equal to minus 2. So one of the value we got is y is equal to minus 2 when we substituted x is equal to 0. Now we can again choose let y is equal to 0. So if I substitute y is equal to 0, I will be getting 2x minus 0 minus 2 is equal to 0. So from there, I will be getting 2x is equal to 2. So x is equal to 1. So we got 2 points lying on the first line. So we can write 2 points on the first line are, once we substituted x is equal to 0, so we got minus 2, and when we substituted y is equal to 0, we got x is equal to 1. So the 2 points are 0, minus 2 and 1, 0. Remember, we have to write x first and then y. Now taking the second equation. So second equation is minus 4x plus y plus 4 is equal to 0. So we will do the same thing with this equation also. So let x is equal to 0. So we will be getting minus 4 into 0 plus y plus 4 is equal to 0. So from here I will be getting y is equal to minus 4. Now taking y is equal to 0. So we will be getting minus 4x plus 0 plus 4 is equal to 0. So minus 4x is equal to minus 4. So x is equal to 1. So the points are, what we got when we substituted x is equal to 0, we got y is equal to minus 4, and when we substituted y is equal to 0, we got x is equal to 1. So the 2 points on this line, minus 4x plus y plus 4, are 0, minus 4 and 1, 0. Now we have to plot these points on the Cartesian plane, and then we will join these points to get the requisite graph. So let's try to draw the graph. So for that, let me choose the graph paper, and then we will be drawing the x and y axis here. So let's draw the x and y axis. So the point where both the axes intersect is origin, so that is 0. And then we can go 1, 2, 3 and minus 6. Okay, so let's draw the first line. So the first line, it is passing through 0 comma minus 2 and 1 comma 0. So 0 comma minus 2, x is 0, so we know that x is 0 on y-axis. So on y-axis at x is equal to minus 2 is 0 is, sorry, y is equal to minus 2 is 0 comma minus 2, and the second point was 1 comma 0. So y is 0, so it would be lying on x-axis. So these are the 2 points from where the first line is passing through. So we will join these 2 points and we will extend it on both the sides. Okay. So this is the graph of the first line, that is 2x minus y minus 2 is equal to 0. So we can write 2x minus y minus 2 is equal to 0. And let me choose a different color for the second line. So the second line is passing through 0 comma minus 4 and 1 comma 0. So 1 comma 0 is the same point, and 0 comma minus 4, x is 0, so it would be lying on y-axis. So the 2 points from which the next line is passing is, we have marked it in orange color. Now let me draw join these 2 points, extend it downwards, and then we will extend it upwards. Okay, so this is the graph of minus 4x plus y plus 4 is equal to 0. So minus 4x plus y plus 4 is equal to 0. So the two lines are crossing each other at 1 comma 0. So 1 comma 0 is lying on both the lines, and we know any point which lies on the line is the solution of that line, or it satisfies the equation of that line. So graphically we can say that 1 comma 0 is the solution of the given pair of lines. Now we have found out the solution of the given pair of lines graphically. Now one more part of this question is, find the absolute difference between the ordinates of the points where given lines cut y-axis. So we have to find out the difference between the ordinates. Ordinates means y-coordinate of the points where the given line cuts y-axis. So we have plotted these points. 2x minus y minus 2 is crossing y-axis at minus 2, and minus 4x plus y plus 4, the orange line, is passing through y-axis at minus 4. So we can write absolute difference so we have to put the absolute sign. So minus 2 minus minus 4. So minus 2, and when we will open the bracket, minus times minus will become plus. So minus 2 plus 4 is equal to absolute value of 2, that is 2. So in this way, we solved the equations graphically. We drew their graph. They were crossing each other at 1 comma 0. So 1 comma 0 would be the solution of this pair of linear equations, as this point is lying on both the lines. So if it is lying on both the lines, so it will be satisfying the equations of both the lines. And in the last they had asked what would be the difference between the ordinates of the points where the lines are crossing y-axis. So we found out their absolute difference, that is -2 minus or -4. So that will be absolute value of 2, that is equal to 2. Okay, so let's move to the next question, question number 2. Okay, so moving to the question number 2, solve the following system of linear equations: 7x minus 2y is equal to 5 and 8x plus 7y is equal to 15, and verify your answer. So none of the particular method has been asked in this question, so we can use any method to solve according to our comfort. So in this case, I will be using elimination method to solve this question. So let's start. Now, if we analyze the equation, 7x minus 2y is equal to 5 and 8x plus 7y is equal to 5. So we can make the coefficients of y equal in both the equations by finding out the LCM of 2 and 7. So the LCM of 2 and 7 is 14. So to make 14, the coefficient of y in the first equation, we will be multiplying it with 7. So if I multiply the first equation by 7, it will be So it will be 49x minus 14y is equal to 35. And if we multiply by 2 to the second equation, because we have to make the coefficient of y 14, so it will be 16x plus 14y is equal to 30. Now, as the coefficients of y are of opposite sign and they are equal, I can add both the equations. So this will be 65x and this will cancel out, is equal to 65. So divide by 65 on both the sides, so we will be getting 1. So the value of x is 1. Now we have to find out the corresponding value of y. I can substitute the value x is equal to 1 in the first equation. So it will be 7 times 1 minus 2y is equal to 5. So if we take 7 to the right hand side, so it will be minus 2y is equal to 5 minus 7, that is minus 2. So y is equal to 1. So the solution of this system of linear equations is solution of this pair of linear equations is 1, 1. Now we have to verify our answer also. So verification means if I substitute x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 1 in both the equations, the left hand side should be equal to the right hand side. So taking the left hand side of the first equation and substituting x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 1 in this. So I will be getting 7 times 1 minus 2 times 1 is equal to 7 minus 2 is equal to 5 is equal to right hand side. So at x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 1, the left hand side is equal to the right hand side of the first equation. It means our solution is right. Similarly, for the second equation, we can verify substituting x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 1. We got 8 plus 7, that is 15, and that is equal to right hand side. So we saw that in both the equations, if I substitute x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 1, the left hand side is equal to the right hand side. It means we verified our answer that it is correct. So this was the simple application of the elimination method to solve a system of pair of linear equations. Now moving to the third question. Third question is a similar type of question of the second one, but here the coefficients of x and y are not integers, they are square roots. So I took this question just to make you comfortable with the square roots. So our method of solution will remain same. We will try to make the coefficient of x equal in both the equations. So forgetting about the square root sign, the coefficients of x in both the equations are 2 and 3, and the LCM of 2 and 3 is 6. So we will try to make the coefficient of x root 6 in both the equations. So if I multiply by root 3 to the first equation, I would be getting root 6x plus multiplying by root 3, so root 3 into root 3, so same number in root is being multiplied, so roots will be removed, so 3y is equal to 5. And if you multiply by root 2 to the second equation, so root 3 into root 2, I will be getting root 6 minus root 2 into root 8, so it will be root 16. 16 is a perfect square of 4, so minus 4y is equal to minus root 6 into root 2 is root 12, and root 12 is root 2 square into 3. So 2 is coming in pair, so 2 will come out, so minus 2 root 3. And we multiply by root 3 to the first equation, so it will be 5 root 3. Now the coefficient of x is same in both and is of the same sign, so we need to subtract it. So if we subtract, the signs will change. So let me change the sign. Now if we subtract it, so this will cancel out, and 3 plus 4 is 7y is equal to 5 plus 2 is 7 root 3. So if we divide by 7, so we get y as root 3. So the value of y came out to be root 3. Now I have to find out x. So to find out x, I can substitute y is equal to root 3 in any one of the equation. So substituting y is equal to root 3 in the first equation, I will be getting root 2x plus root 3y. So y is root 3 is equal to 5. So root 2x plus this will become 3 is equal to 5. So root 2x is equal to 5 minus 3, that is 2. If I divide by root 2 on both the sides, so I will be getting 2 over root 2, that is root 2. So the values of x and y for this system of linear equations we got is root 2 and root 3. So we can write, hence x is equal to root 2 and y is equal to root 3 is the solution. So we don't have to fear from square roots. We have to just treat them like integers and make the coefficients equal, keeping the square root sign. And wherever if we get on multiplication or division a perfect square, we can bring out that number. And remember, if we are multiplying two equal numbers with the square root signs, square root will be removed. Now moving to the question number 4. So this is also a similar type of question. And here the coefficients are of fractions. So I took this question just to make you comfortable with fractions, and we will not be dealing with fractions. We will try to convert these fractions into integers because we are more comfortable with integers in respect of fractions. So how to convert these fractions into integers? We will take the LCM of the denominators and we will multiply the whole equation by that LCM to cancel out the denominators. Okay. So let's start. The first equation, the denominators are 10 and 5. So the LCM of 10 and 5 is 10. So if I multiply by 10 to the first equation, I will be getting x plus 2y is equal to 10. And similarly, the LCM of 8 and 6 is 24. So if I multiply by 24 to the second equation, I will be getting 3x plus 4y is equal to 24 into 15, that is 360. Now our equations, original equations, turned into the equations with which we were dealing in the previous problems. Now I have to make the coefficient of any one of the variable x or y equal, and we will be using the elimination method to solve this question. Now the coefficient of x in the first equation is 1 and 3 in the second equation. So we will be making the coefficient of x 3 in the first equation. So for that, let's multiply the first equation by 3. So it became 3x plus 6y is equal to 30, and second equation will remain same because there the coefficient is already 3. Now the sign of the coefficients is same in both the equations, so we would have to subtract the second equation from the first equation. So signs will change, so this will become negative, this will become negative, this will also become negative. Okay, so this will cancel out. Now 6 minus 4y will be 2y is equal to 30 minus 360 will be minus 330. Now if we divide by 2 on both the sides, so we will be getting minus 165. So the value of y came out to be minus 165. Now we have to find out the value of x. We can substitute this value y is equal to minus 165 in any one of this equation. So let's substitute it in the first equation. So it will become x plus 2y. So y is minus 165 is equal to 10. So x is equal to 10 and 2 into 165 is 330, and it was minus, so it became positive. So 330. So we will get 340. So the value of x came out to be 340. Okay. Now the second part of the question is find lambda if y is equal to lambda x plus 5. So y is equal to lambda x plus 5. So substituting the values of x and y in this equation, so y was minus 165 is equal to lambda x is 340 plus 5. So if I bring 5 to the left hand side, so it will become minus 165 minus 5 is equal to lambda times 340. So that become minus 170 is equal to lambda times 340. So from here lambda is minus 170 over 340. So that will be 2. So the value of lambda is minus 1 over 2. So we got the value of the lambda asked in the second part of the question. So if we quickly go through this question once, so it was x by 10 plus y by 5 is equal to 1 and x by 8 plus y by 6 is equal to 15, and we had to find out the values of x and y. So first of all, to make our work easier, we removed the denominators by multiplying by their LCM to the whole equation. So we multiplied by 10 to the first equation and 24 to the second equation, and we got the new equation says x plus 2y is equal to 10 and 3x plus 4y is equal to 360. Multiplied first equation by 3 to make the coefficients of x equal. Subtracted, we got y as minus 165. Substituted the value of y is equal to minus 165 in the first equation and found out the value of x is 340. For the second part, the question asked if y is equal to lambda x plus 5, find the value of lambda. So we substituted the value of y as minus 165, x as 340 and found out the value of lambda as negative 1 by 2. So I hope you would have understood this question. Let's move to the next question, that is question number 5. So if we read the question is the monthly incomes of two persons are in the ratio 9:7 and their monthly expenditures are in the ratio 4:3. If each saved rupees 5,000, express the given solution algebraically as a system of linear equations in two variables. So till now we were solving questions where the equations were already given. Now this is the word problem where the question is given in terms of words. We have to first make the algebraic equation and then solve them by substitution or elimination method to find out the values. So first of all, if we understand the question, okay. So the monthly expenditures of two persons are given in the ratio 9:7. So what we understand by ratio? So ratio means if we divide them, we should get 9/7. So whenever ratios are given, we can assume them as we can assume the values as multiplying by some real numbers to both the ratios. So we can assume the incomes of the two persons as 9x and 7x, where x is some real number. Because whenever we divide 9x by 7x, x will cancel out and I will get the same ratio 9:7. And their expenditures are in the ratio of 4:3. So we can write 4y and 3y as their actual expenditures. Remember, we will not take 4x and 3x because it is not necessary that the same real number will make the ratios same. Now the question is saying if each person saved rupees 5,000. So what is saving? Saving is income minus expenditure. So we have got the incomes and expenditure of both the persons, so we can make the equation because saving of both the persons is 5,000. So for the first person, I can say 9x minus 4y should be equal to 5,000. And for the second person, income is 7x and expenditure is 3y should also be equal to 5,000. So these are the two equations from which we have to find out the value of x, because the question is asking about their monthly incomes, and incomes are 9x and 7x. So if we can find out the value of x, we will be getting the incomes of both the persons. So to find out the value of x, I can make the coefficient of y equal in both the equations so that y would cancel out and I will get the value of x. So coefficients of y in both the equations are 4 and 3. So their LCM is 12. I can make the coefficients of y 12 in both the equations. So to make the coefficient of y 12, I have to multiply by 3 to the first equation. So if I multiply by 3 to the first equation, it will be 27x minus 12y is equal to 15,000. And to make the coefficient of y12 in the second equation, I have to multiply it by 4. So it will be 28x minus 12y is equal to 20,000. And both the coefficients are of negative sign, so I have to subtract both the equations. So signs will change. So on subtracting, this will become negative, this will become positive, this will also become negative. So 27 minus 28x is minus x. This will cancel out, is equal to 15,000 minus 20,000. We will be getting minus 5,000. This will be 20,000. So x is 5,000. So the value of x we got is 5,000. So we got the value of x as 5,000. We can find out the incomes. So incomes will be 9x. So that will be 9 times 5,000. That will be 45,000. And the second income is 7x. So 7 times 5,000. So that will be 35,000. So the incomes are 45,000 and 35,000 of both the persons. I hope this would be clear. So this was a question, word problem, in which the incomes of two persons were in the ratio 9:7 and their expenditures were in the ratio 4:3. So we assumed their incomes as 9x and 7x and their expenditures as 4y and 3y, and we used the concept that saving will be equal to income minus expenditure. So using that concept, we made the two equations, 9x minus 4y is equal to 5,000, 7x minus 3y is equal to 5,000. We had to find out the incomes of both the persons. So incomes was 9x and 7x. So we had to find out only the value of x. So we made the coefficient of y equal in both the equations by multiplying by 3 to the first equation and by 4 to the second equation. And in this way we got the value of x as 5000. Incomes was 9x and 7x. Substituted the value of x and we got incomes as 45,000 and 35,000. Now moving to the question number 6. This is an interesting question and we will be using slightly different method to solve this question. Okay, the question number 6 is, Suzanne invested certain amount of money in two schemes, A and B, which offer interest at the rate of 8% per annum. Which offer interest at the rate of 8% per annum and 9% per annum respectively. She received rupees 1860 as annual interest. However, had she interchanged the amount of investments in two schemes, she would have received rupees 20 more as annual interest. How much money did she invest in each scheme? So there are two schemes, A and B, and Suzanne invested some amount of money in A and some amount of money in B, and A was offering 8% per annum interest and B was offering 9% per annum interest. Okay, so there are two schemes, A and B. Now two amounts of money were invested, one in A, one in B. We do not know how much Suzanne invested in A and how much she invested in B. So let's assume he invested rupees X in A and rupees Y in B. So in the first situation, he got 1860 as the interest rate. So in the first situation, if we find out the interest, so A offered 8% interest, so 8% of the money invested, that is X, plus B offered 9% of the money invested, so that is Y, and this is the total interest earned from A and B, and in the question it is given rupees 1860. And second situation is saying, however, had she interchanged the amount of investments in the two schemes, she would have received rupees 20 more as annual interest. So means if she would have invested rupees Y in A and rupees X in B, so how much she would have got? A was offering 8% interest rate, so 8% of Y plus 9% of X is rupees 20 more. So 1860 plus 20 will be 1880. So this is the second equation. Now again, as in the previous question, it is a fraction. So we will convert it into integers. To convert it into integers, we will be multiplying by 100 to both the equations. So equation will turn into 8x plus 9y is equal to 1860 and multiplied by 100. So that will be 2 zeros. Second equation, I will be writing x first. So that is 9x plus 8y is equal to, multiplying by 100, we will be getting 1880 and 2 zeros of the 100. Now we can make the coefficients of x or y equal in both the equations by multiplying by 8 or 9 to both the equations, and we can eliminate one variable and find out the corresponding value of the second variable. But we can here we can use an interesting method because the coefficients are of quite a good nature in these equations. So if we add the coefficients of x in both the equations, it is turning out to be 17, and the coefficients of y, their sum is also 17. So whenever you get such equations, so we can solve it quickly by adding both the equations once. So if I add both the equations, so I will be getting 17x plus 17y is equal to, we will be getting 8 plus 6, 14, 17 and 3,74,000. Now 17 is common in both, so I can write x plus y is equal to 3,74,000 divided by 17. So that will be 22,000. So x plus y, we got 22,000. We have to find out the value of x plus y. Now, once we can, if we can find out the value of x minus y also, then our work will become easier. So, if I subtract both the equations, so I will write 9x plus 8y first, that is 8,000, and 8x plus 9y is equal to this. Now, if we subtract both, so 9x minus 8x will be x minus y is equal to 2000. 88,000 minus 86,000 will be 2000. Now we have got two simple equations. From that, finding out the value of x and y is easy. So x plus y is 22,000 and x minus y is 2000. So I can subtract 3 minus 4. So that will be x plus y is equal to 22,000 and x minus y is equal to 2000. So if I add both, so 2x is equal to 24,000. So x is equal to 12,000. Now x is 12,000 and x plus y is 22,000. So from here I can say y will be 10,000. So Suzanne invested rupees 12,000 in scheme A originally and rupees 10,000 in scheme B. So this was a particular type of question. So we can see here that the sum of the coefficients of x and y came out to be equal. So that make our work easier. Once we added both the equations and once we subtracted both the equations and found out two new equations, x plus y and x minus y, and once we got x plus y and x minus y, our work became easier. We added both the equations and found out the value of x, and substituting the value of x in any one of the equation, we figured out that y will be 10,000. So this was all for today's session. I hope you would have enjoyed and understood the questions. If you have any doubt, you can just drop me a message. I will try to help you out. In the next video lecture, we will be taking MCQs from the quadratic equations topic. Quadratic equations is quite important and interesting also. Its graph is a parabola and it is important from the point of view of JEE also. So thank you, and we will be meeting in our next lecture with quadratic equations.